The Minstrel's Ballad Endsinger's Aria starts off with Elegeia Unforgotten. This summons 2 stars on the outside of the arena, and both stars will be either orange, indicating a massive point-blank circle AoE at the collision site, with a crescent-shaped safe spot on the opposite side, or blue, indicating a knockback. These collisions always occur on intercardinals, with the slower star rotating 90 degrees, and the faster star rotating 270 degrees before the two meet. This isn't super important, but can help you identify where the stars will meet sooner. The circle AoE deals insanely high damage, while the knockback is about 2/3 of the arena length and cannot be immuned. This is accompanied by an Endsinger clone that spawns in the middle of the arena with a blue target ring. As the stars collide, this clone will also blast the direction it is facing with a 180-degree cleave. Dodge the orange stars or get knocked back from the blue stars in a manner that positions you behind this cleave. After the first collision, Endsinger will use the other variant. After the 2 collisions are resolved, 8 towers will appear, and Endsinger will begin casting Grip of Despair, tethering all DPS to either a tank or a healer. We all stack mid on the arrow of Endsinger's target ring, and at the end of the cast have all the tanks and healers run west, while the DPS run east. These chains have to be stretched quite a bit to break and will inflict vulnerability up stacks if not broken quickly enough, so be sure to run straight to the west-east cardinals until the chains are broken. From here we report to tower assignments on our respective sides of the arena, with melee taking the northern towers and range taking the southern. As the towers resolve, Endsinger will also cast its first Elenchos. Elenchos is a 2-variant cast, and players must inspect Endsinger's face to determine the pattern. 2 crying eyes indicate that the east and west sides of the arena will be struck with column AoEs, while a glowing open mouth indicates Endsinger will vomit all over the center of the arena. Elenchos resolves at the same time as the towers, so players need to identify the safe spot and move to that side of their towers until everything has resolved. Telos is a standard raidwide AoE. Hubris will target the first and second in-enmity targets with telegraphing circle tank busters. Tanks can move out of the group stack to resolve these. Endsinger will once again cast Elegeia Unforgotten, combining a star collision with a clone cleave, followed by its first cast of Eironeia, targeting both healers with split damage AoEs. We divide the raid into 2 light parties, with one light party always stacking closer to Endsinger, and the other farther. This isn't too important for this first cast, but will be mandatory later in the fight, so I would suggest getting used to it immediately. Endsinger next casts Fatalism, recalling the previous star collision. Fatalism will instead have 2 pairs of stars resolving back-to-back on opposite intercardinals. Pay attention to the stars on the outside of the arena to determine which will resolve first, as the first pair to separate will be the first pair to collide. After resolving the first, quickly move into position to resolve the second. Immediately after the second collision, Endsinger will cast another Elenchos. Twinsong's Aporrhoia is Endsinger's premier mechanic. 5 clones will appear around the arena, 4 on the intercardinals, and 1 in the center. The center clone is similar to the ones we dealt with during the star collisions. It has a blue target ring, and will cast a 180-degree cleave in the direction it's facing. After a cleave, it will rotate clockwise 90 degrees to cleave again. The 4 intercardinal clones work a little differently. 2 opposite corners will cast a point-blank circle AoE, while the other 2 opposite corners will cast a donut AoE. After resolving their circle or donut, these will alternate to the other, meaning the donuts become circles, and the circles become donuts. We resolve this by finding the donut behind the center clone to use as our first safe spot. We then rotate clockwise to the next intercardinal clone for the second safe spot, and rotate clockwise one final time to the third safe spot. Endsinger will now cast Theological Fatalism, and make an otherwise brain-dead mechanic a bit more complex. Every clone will be marked with between 1 and 3 rings, and these rings represent steps back in time that the clones will execute. 1 ring means they will repeat their last action taken, 2 rings means they will repeat the second to last action, and 3 rings repeats the third to last action. We must use this information to determine where the safe spot will be, but this is simpler than it seems. Step 1 is to identify where the center clone will cleave, in order to eliminate 2 potential safe spots. In this example, the center clone is facing north and has 1 ring. Because 1 ring repeats the last action taken, we know this clone will cleave both north spots. This only leaves the 2 southern spots as the potential safe spot. On the final hit while we were rotating, the donuts were northwest and southeast. With this information, we know that if southeast has an odd number of rings, as in this example, it will be a donut, making it the safe spot. If it had 2 rings, it would become a point-blank circle AoE, meaning southwest must be the safe spot as we have eliminated the other 3. Immediately after resolving the Fivehead mechanic, be prepared to resolve another Elenchos, this time paired with healer stacks. After the healer stacks is another pair of Hubris tank busters. Despair Unforgotten is Endsinger's next major mechanic. 3 sets of these come out randomly back to back, and players must remember the order they are targeted with which mechanics. 2 sets will include 4 flares, 3 donuts and 1 stack, while the remaining set targets all 8 players with large circle AoEs they must spread out for. After the first 2 sets, Endsinger throws out another Elenchos before moving into the third. This part of the mechanic is pretty basic. If you have a flare, move to the outer edge with melee taking the north and range taking the south, and if you have a stack or a donut, stack dead center of the arena, on the arrow in Endsinger's target ring. Positions can be assigned for these, but I find that to be unnecessary. After all 3 sets resolve, Theological Fatalism will give each player 1 to 3 rings, and this works exactly like it did during the Fivehead mechanic. Each ring represents a step back in time. 1 ring will repeat your last mechanic, 2 repeats your second to last, and 3 rings repeats your first. In this example, I have 3 rings, and as my first mechanic was a donut AoE, I stack mid to resolve. Telomania will hit the party with 5 back-to-back Raidwide AoEs, with the 5th also inflicting a 15-second bleed, so this is a great place to use mitigation. Endsong's Aporrhoia will summon 6 clones around the outside of the arena. Endsong will then shoot 4 rings from the boss to 4 of the clones. Any clone that receives a ring will explode in a massive circle AoE. The key thing to know here is that any clone that doesn't receive a ring will have a safe spot directly behind it. Sometimes 2 adjacent clones will both not receive a ring, resulting in a larger safe spot, but this won't always be the case. Identify an idle clone and move behind it. These AoEs individually aren't lethal, so if you can't get to a safe spot, be sure not to get hit by more than 1. After the first set resolves, the clones will pass the rings between each other twice more. Dodge these subsequent sets as you did the first. After the third set resolves, immediately move to dodge yet another Elenchos. After another Telos Raidwide and Hubris tank buster, we enter another Elegeia Unforgotten, once again resolving a star collision while dodging a center clone Cleave. This is followed by healer stacks before we move into Endsinger's final major mechanic, Double Fatalism. Endsinger will summon 2 sets of collisions of whatever we resolve during the last Elegeia on opposite intercardinals, followed by 2 sets of collisions of the other pattern on the remaining intercardinals. If you get orange stars first, congratulations, you got the easy variant. Identify the first explosion and move to the safe crescent, before moving to the second safe crescent on the opposite side of the arena. While dodging the second explosion, identify the first knockback to resolve, and prepare to move into position to ride the remaining 2 knockbacks. If you got knockbacks first, this is going to be a bit trickier. Identify the first knockback and knock across the arena to the second. For the second knockback, you must position to be knocked away from the first orange stars that will collide, as you won't be able to control your character during the knockback, and will have only a second to position after the knockback, before the first orange collision snapshots and resolves, giving you very little time to correct your position post-knockback. This is dramatically more difficult than the other variant, and often leads to a wipe, so I would save your limit break until this point in case a healer survives and can save the pool with an LB3. As the final collision occurs, Endsinger will cast Katasterismoi, once again summoning 8 towers. Don't get baited and be sure to finish resolving all 4 collisions before moving into your tower, which will once again be paired with another Elenchos. From here, Endsinger will only repeat mechanics. 11 minutes and 25 seconds into the pool, if Endsinger hasn't been defeated, she will become untargetable and wipe the raid.